You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And we continue to observe, mourn, and remember those who have fallen in service of protecting this wonderful country. But we also, beyond acknowledging them, continue to live our lives in the American tradition. Sometimes that includes barbecues. Sometimes that includes shopping. Sometimes it's watching television. And for example, tonight they have the American Music Awards, which are going on right now. The delayed broadcast to LA started about maybe 10 minutes ago. It originally aired at 5 p.m. our time on the East Coast. The East Coast feed was 8 o'clock their time. And so now they're replaying it to the West Coast. And I get it. A lot of people may not remember the American Music Awards. It was gone for 2 years. People may say, well, what's the whole point of the American Music Awards? There's so many award shows. Well, let me just give you a brief history. You had the Grammys, the granddaddy, if you will, and the Grammys are predicated on its membership body. It's about 13,000 people now. Singers, songwriters, producers, recording engineers, all the people who are in the industry who have at least 6 releases in the field to be a qualified voting member, they get to vote on the Grammys. Long story short. And in the 80s and 90s, when I was working at the Grammys in the 90s, the Grammys really fell out of favor. And they had been falling out of favor for the previous 15, 20 years before that. So even though the Grammys predate the American Music Awards, the Grammys was on a sliding scale of popularity because they seemingly could not get it right. They could not really keep their finger on the pulse of music. In other words, the people who are working in the industry, and yes, the Grammys are about being voted on by your peers, they would make their decisions and people would shake their heads like, I don't care about that artist. I don't even know who that is. Then you had the response shows. And then you had, I think it was the American Music Awards was in 1974 out of Dick Clark Productions. And back then it was based on sales. They had this sales meter called SoundScan. Like if you were going to a grocery store and you were buying something at the grocery store, go boop, same type of thing. You know, they would scan the music and they could find out who was actually selling the most music. And that was back then, at least in the 90s, how the American Music Awards were determined. Now, the American Music Awards are determined straight up by fan voting, and you can vote up to 25 times per day, per category, at their website and at their Instagram account at AMAS. That's their account. The American Music Awards and just about every award show has come as a response to the Grammys. Like, for example, there was a feeling that the Grammys were not acknowledging what the fans wanted. So you had the American Music Award. There was a feeling that the Grammys were not in touch with urban, or what they call back then, black music. So you had other shows like the Soul Train Awards or the BET Awards, or the BET Awards was a response to maybe the MTV Video Music Awards, or you had the VH1 Awards. All of these shows were to satisfy a particular audience. Or the Grammys were really, really criticized for their hip hop choices. And then you had the Source Awards. I mean, that's why you had so many music award shows, the Country Music Awards, the CMAs, and so forth. And you had the Gospel, the Dove Awards, the Stellar Awards. All of them, for the most part, were a direct response to the Grammys to make sure people in certain communities or certain music genres had a way to be acknowledged. Because back in the day, the Grammys only had maybe 50 categories. Now they've expanded to almost 100. But I'm saying back in the day, they didn't have all the subsets of pop music or R&B music or rap music. And so these other award shows came out. But, you know, I was thinking, like, I don't know if even people remembered or realized that the AMAs had been gone for 2 years. They were literally gone for 2 years. I didn't even know.
It is such a forgettable award show. And I remember during my time in the music industry, it was not an award that we cared about. No labels were trying to get extra spins or anything. Even when the awards were held in Los Angeles, no one was like, hey, I got such and such a town. No one cared. There were no hype after parties. It was just like, it was okay. God, yes, I get it. Another award show.
It was a TV show. That was it. There was nothing. There was no heat around it. Now, if you lived in the Midwest with no connection to the music industry. Yeah, there was, especially in the 80s and 90s, it was the way you could see your favorite artists that you might not have had a chance to see at the Grammys because they weren't performing. They weren't up for an award. It was another way to market the music industry. Now, with social media, it doesn't really mean as much. I don't know. And also, we're almost in June. It used to be all these award shows were in January or February. To have the American Music Awards in June makes all the music that they're acknowledging seem, sound, and feel real old.
One thing about an award show like the American Music Awards, or really any award show outside of the Grammys, the only one that matters to recording artists for the longest time was a Grammy, because a Grammy did what? It helped you to dictate the terms of your contracts moving forward. You could try to negotiate more points, i.e. get more money from the label based on your Grammy, because it was a solid, real recognized award show. The American Music Awards, it was like a fluff award. It was like, hey, people like you. They really, really like you. But it didn't really like increase sales or anything.
It's something else that you kind of touched on. If you want a Grammy, you could also demand better placement in stores, because you got that sticker you could put on your CD, the actual physical sticker, Grammy Award winning, da-da-da-da-da. And that improved your placement in a department store or a convenience store, or definitely a music store, Warehouse, Sam Goody, I can't remember all the places now. Tower House. Tower Warehouse. Yeah, Tower Records.
Yeah, no one saw a sign that said, MTV Music Award.
No,
no, it didn't matter. No one
what did winning one of them Cable Ace Awards get you?
Right. It was another opportunity for an artist to get television exposure, but it didn't move the meter for artists as far as making money. If you have a chance to be on national TV back then, because there wasn't any cable, yeah, you want your artist to be featured. It didn't matter big picture. That's all.
Yeah.
And, the American Music Awards are back, and they have all the top names. They have two co-hosts, like Jennifer Lopez, someone else is hosting, and she looks good. Like, don't get me wrong. Oh, she looks good. They just did this performance, and they had her dancers kissing on her, both male and female. Yeah.
It'll all be on YouTube.
It'll be on YouTube, but it's like, I can see what you're doing. I see the marketing here.
But do you feel like the American Music Awards forced the Grammys to like open up more options?
No.
I would not say that. I think that after a while, the public, not the AMAs. I just think that the Grammy ratings were decreasing because they kept acknowledging groups that nobody really cared about. They kept acknowledging songs that nobody cared about. They had artists who were winning rap awards that no one in the rap community knew about or would even respected.
Yeah,
that was the thing.
That's what made the Grammys change up their categories and add new categories to further define and categorize music. But it wasn't in response to everyone else, because none of the other award shows were taking away from people showing up or performing or clamoring. All these other award shows, they start doing weird things like, collabs and different performances that you mashups and stuff. And it's like, okay, great. They tried all these tricks and all this stuff, but it didn't really change the prestige of the Grammys. Even all the boycotts, all the people who boycotted, they all came around and had to show up at the Grammys.
It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640 live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. And what would you do if your parents killed and cooked your pet and served it to you without telling you? True story. It happened to someone very, very famous. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And I'm quite sure if you ever had like a family pet, you grow emotionally attached to it, be it dog, cat, fish, iguana, pig. Yes, some people even had pigs as pets. Me personally, I don't believe in pets which might end up as food. That's just me. Too many bad things can happen. And here's an example of that. Michael Strahan, you know him of Good Morning America. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. It was revealed that Michael Strahan's parents cooked and ate his childhood pet pig, and Strahan didn't find out until he was an adult. It's not exactly clear when the pig was slaughtered and served. It's not exactly clear if it was served to Michael without him knowing, but I have to assume it was.
Don't you think there's a little gray area here that a pig might fall into? Kind of somewhere between, son, I'm sorry about your Labrador, and son, I've got some bad news for you about your albacore tuna pet.
Oh my goodness.
We were awfully hungry and it looked delicious.
Oh, how do you break that information to someone? He says he didn't find out until he was an adult. In other words, I guess the pet in his mind as a child disappeared. I don't know, ran away or something. And then his parents didn't tell him until he was an adult. I have to assume he ate his own pet.
Son, we cooked the pig.
How do you deal with that?
With the proper sauce, I think.
nice smoky barbecue.
Yeah. A tangy sauce.
That's how you deal with it.
Mama, what's for dinner tonight? Ham and bacon. Ooh, I love ham and bacon. Well, wait a minute. You didn't go to the store today. We already had some at the house.
Did he mention the pet pig's name?
I don't know what the name was.
It wasn't Wilbur, was it?
No. I don't think it says the name of the pig.
Most kids his age probably had a pig named Wilbur. It's just in the story.
Son,
they just call him the pig.
The pig. That's
had a pet pig.
The pig.
Well, that objectifies it, so it's not as hard to eat as if you'd given it like a family name.
Yeah, it doesn't say. No, it just said the childhood pet pig. So maybe they were estranged. I don't know.
Definitely estranged.
But clearly, since his parents made the decision not to tell their son that their son's pet pig is no longer and was served at a holiday dinner, most likely, they knew that Michael was fond of the pig. I don't know what I would do if my parents did something similar.
Well, that's a weird pet to have. Who do you know who has a pet pig?
Actually, I know a few people.
Yeah,
that have pet pigs.
Like the little pot-bellied ones, or like a full-size hog.
Yes, and yes. Look, when you're in 4-H, yes, you have some friends.
Yeah,
and one of the regular Momigos has one too.
My aunt,
really?
She raised pigs. I mean, she would tell how you could get one of those mini pigs, and you have to feed them very little. They're like gremlins. Like if you start to feed them too much, they turn into just regular pigs.
Oh, like
they
the
start to
teacup
grow.
pigs?
Yeah, but you have to feed them very little, even if they squeal, whatever they do. No, you have to keep them at a strict diet. Otherwise, they turn into just regular old pigs. They expand.
Like a gremlin.
Yes.
I like that.
Oh, I got to turn on my mic. What's the strangest pet that you've had momentarily or even long term?
Nothing out of the unusual for me, just dogs and cats.
We had we were allowed to take the school mascot home for a couple nights. It was Joseph Arnold Elementary, and our mascot was a rabbit. So I guess we had the rabbit for like a week.
Oh, those are some good eating. The rabbits.
I had a turtle.
I've had turtle, and I've had gator, but neither is pets.
Oh, no, I had one as a
when
pet.
you say had, you mean tried, as in tasted.
No, well, actually both. I mean, in other words, have you had a strange animal as a pet? And hopefully you didn't eat it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I had a pet turtle, and I believe it got to be too much to take care of, and we took it maybe to Hanson's Dam. We took it to one place and refreed it. We let it just go into the water.
How high maintenance could a little turtle possibly be?
Well, to a kid who doesn't want to take care of it anymore when it's no longer cute,
Okay.
it's a lot. When
a
I first got it, it was cool, and then it wasn't.
So there's some tipping point where a turtle's not cute anymore?
When you have to clean that filthy, misbegotten tank, yeah.
Turtles are a little more high maintenance than tortoises.
Yeah, the little ones you put in the tank, they snap at you. They're not fun to play with. They're not cool.
Tortoises, you just lay some fruit and salad in front of them.
Just let them live.
They'll just have the day of their life.
You're not good with pets, are you, Mark?
I've always had pets.
I mean, outside of cats.
Those count as pets, Mo. I hate to break this to you.
But I'm saying you don't have any affinity for any other type of pet, it seems.
Dogs. I've had dogs, too. Dogs are great. I love dogs. I don't want to have a dog in any city where I've got to walk around behind it and pick up its poop in my hands.
Well, that's most cities in the U.S.
If I wouldn't do that for my grandmother, I'm not doing it for a dog, okay?
That's a weird juxtaposition. I hope you know that.
Okay, wow.
I'm just saying that love has its limits.
Walking your grandma.
And I wasn't about to walk behind
Why
her
did
with
you-
a plastic bag, and I won't do it for a dog. You need a big yard for a dog. And in this lifetime, I will not be able to afford a big yard in L.A.
Why did you have to bring your grandmother in her colostomy bag?
Oh, I loved that woman.
idea.
I loved that woman, but I wasn't going to deal with her poop.
That's where you draw
so
the line.
weird.
Yeah.
This is just so weird.
That was
I don't
so
know what's
very
happening.
specific.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like I cooked her and ate her like you perverts are talking about.
No,
No one suggested you cooking and eating your
She lived,
Right.
she lived a long and healthy life, and she didn't suffer the fate of this pet pig you're talking about.
Okay, but dogs and humans are not the same. Okay,
That what?
dogs and humans are not the same. I meant what I said. Dogs can't pick up
Going
for
out
themselves.
on a limb there, aren't you?
Yeah,
You really.
look. Okay, yeah, I don't mind picking up after my dogs. Okay, the return on the love that they give me is the least I could do. Okay, it's not like I'm taking care of a human. It's just not the same.
I'm not doing it for anybody or anything.
No one's asking you to be a candy striper at a hospital or like some sort of, I don't know, palliative care nurse.
I feel like the four of us have become close in the 4 years I've worked here. Wouldn't do it for any of you either.
Okay, they got professionals for that.
Yeah.
I don't go around asking my friends, hey, can you help me wipe?
That's literally
Or will you?
nothing that would ever come out of any of our mouths, Mark. None of us would ask you to come over and wipe us.
I mean, you get a stroke, and you need your
What? Who's
I will be in a hospital or dead, one of the two.
I mean, I'll help out a little bit, but just
Get my mail.
Look,
Just leave
Mark,
it at that.
Mark, damn it. If I need a wiping, you'd best get to wiping if I have a stroke.
I'll dab the corner of your mouth or give you a drink of water
Mark,
or something.
so
but
you're just going to let your brother sit in a diaper in front of you while you're coming to see him? You're just like, hey, T, that diaper is awfully ripe.
anything below the belt, that's for the nurse.
How about you wouldn't help change a bedpan?
No.
Mark, I would change your bedpan.
You're
close.
That is among the nicest things anybody's ever said to me, which gives you some picture of what my life has been like.
Would you help with a catheter?
Did you have somebody specific in mind? Like, sorry, Ron Jeremy, I'm not putting your catheter in.
Well, there's more than one place for a catheter.
Look at the time.
KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. How we got there, why we got there, I have no idea. From a pet pig at dinner.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
The last segment, we were talking about pets, the types of pets that you would have, did have, wouldn't have, and hopefully you would not eat. Because in the last segment, we talked about Michael Strahan had a pet pig growing up. It disappeared, and it come to find out later, his parents told him when he was an adult that his parents had slaughtered and eaten the pig. We assume that Michael Strahan also ate the pig and did not know that he was eating his pet. But we started thinking about pets and eating, and there then comes this story. There's a Connecticut woman who had a pet chimp for 14 years. And this is breaking news. This is real, by the way. And unfortunately, the pet chimp went chimp on her, ripped off her face and hands before eating her eyeballs. The harrowing 911 call from Sandra Harold paints a nightmarish scene, as the story goes, as her frenzied voice is punctuated by her pet chimpanzee's savage cries for help. In an agonizing 12-minute plea, Sandra implores the police to arrive and stop Travis, the chimpanzee she raised as if he were her own child for 14 years. The dispatcher asked through the horrific screams of Travis in the background. Let me see that again. The police are saying, "Tell me what the monkey's doing," only to receive a panic-stricken reply. Sandra's voice, laced with desperation, can be heard screaming, "He ripped her apart. Hurry up, please." Followed by the chilling words, "He ripped off my face. He's eating my face." Her pleas intensified as she cried out, "Gun! They gotta shoot him! Please, please, hurry! Hurry, please! I can't! He's eating her! Please, God, please! Where are they? Where are they?" The Connecticut home became the scene of horror as law enforcement arrived and fatally shot Travis, bringing an end to the gruesome event. Now, we always talk about when animals attack, and it's not the fault of the animal. Okay, this one might have been the fault of Travis. Travis might have had this one coming. He might have deserved to have a bullet. I mean,
you can't have a pet chimp.
Remember, we were talking about this during the Best of show on Friday. We were talking about pet chimps. We were talking about Speed Racer specifically. And you, Mark, asked the question about Chimp. And I said it's never explained in the show Speed Racer.
Oh, that's right.
About Chimp, where he came from. And Tuala thought he was smart, talking about Michael Jackson had a pet chimp. No one thought it was odd. I said, no. Everyone thought it was odd because you don't have pet chimpanzees. Now, if you want to connect it to another story, this is a perfect example. 100 men against a gorilla silverback. 100 men. Look, 25 of those men are going to die horribly.
Oh, at least.
Horribly.
It's no different than what was that story that we had about the guy that bought a tiger or a lion?
Right.
No.
Lion. Yeah. And the lion ate his ass the next day.
Yep.
Now, I didn't see every episode of Speed Racer, but was there one that I might have missed where Chim goes nuts and eats Racer X's face or something?
No, but he does attack people in the show.
Okay.
He does. It's always the bad guy, quote unquote. He'll jump on their head and start scratching at their eyes. No, Chim has gone chimpanzee on people in the show.
Yeah, you can't do that. You got to remember, like the old Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp show that was on when we were kids. The outtakes of that are probably horrifying. Try to imagine all they went through to get like 22 minutes of good solid material a week that didn't involve chimp violence.
Jordan Peele's most recent movie about the alien.
Oh, Nope.
Nope. Yeah. That is, I can tell you now, that is surrounding a chimpanzee which goes crazy and kills all the cats. It's a TV chimp. It kills everyone. And that's like the underlying story of Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. It's too long of a video, but literally they title it, "What's Up with Spriddle and Chimp?" Spriddle and Chimp.
Number 7, driven by the masked racer, is beating Speed, driving the Mach 5. Now they're neck and neck, and the masked racer is trying to make Speed crash. They both crash. The masked racer!
It's mostly visual, but yeah, they're swinging through the trees.
Yeah, Chimp does attack
They're in a
people.
car. It's kind of like the sidekick, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
If you see on the Speed Racer, he attacks people throughout the show. So Chim is a chimpanzee through and through. He will attack people and try to kill them.
Yeah, chimps don't fight fair.
The problem is, okay, we got to start with one. She owned this thing.
Yes.
Okay. So it is literally her fault. Nowhere is it written in any text that you should own a monkey. No one would say, hey, yeah.
Not even one of the small rhesus monkeys.
No, you should not. Okay. Monkeys go monkey all the time. The fact that this chimp just had enough of her coming home. Hey, buddy, let's play. This monkey was like, let's play, eat your face. And the eyeballs. The best part about it are the images. The images
eyeballs.
of this faceless woman with the fake eyes now. It is absolutely precious.
I know that chimpanzee was saying, if this woman makes me do one more trick, one more, I'm going to eat her face.
That was a ticking simian time bomb.
I'm going to eat her eyes. I'm going to chew off all that face. She does it one more time. And she did.
Yeah.
And the rest, they say, is history. Thoughts and prayers.
No, she lived.
I know, but still, I mean, thoughts
That's
and
rest for her face.
face. Yeah, and her eyeballs.
I mean, I thought you were saying thoughts and prayers for the monkey because, the monkey.
Well, they did shoot the monkey.
Yeah, they killed the monkey.
Yeah, this is one of those times. Yeah, monkey had it coming. He earned that bullet. Oh, he earned it.
I mean,
that
but what was going to happen? I mean, the police were not going to come in and find him just nibbling. No.
Something out of a horror movie.
This woman is lucky that her arms were not ripped off and subsequently that she was beaten to death with them.
Well, if the chimpanzee wasn't hungry, then he probably would have ripped off the arms. But he had to finish his dinner.
His snack.
And he was interrupted by the police. And then he probably lunged at the police, furtive movement. Put that eyeball down. Put it down. And back away from the face. He didn't comply, so they shot him.
After his last meal.
It's later with Mo Kelly. KFI AM 640 live everywhere. The iHeartRadio app. The show went real dark, real fast.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly on this Memorial Day. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. And the Dodgers are going to host a special screening of the movie The Sandlot on June 28th for their annual movie night on the field. And if you haven't seen The Sandlot, we featured it as part of Name That Movie Cult Classic. But if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. If you're a baseball fan, you must watch it. If you're a child growing up, I would recommend parents show it to your children.
It's easy when you play with a bunch of rejects and fat kids, Rodriguez.
Shut your mouth, Phillips.
What'd you say, crap face? I said you shouldn't even be allowed to touch a baseball. Except for Rodriguez, you're all an insult to the game. Come on! We'll take you on right here, right now! Come on! Yeah, right now! We play on a real diamond, Porter. You ain't good enough to lick the dirt off our cleats. Watch it, jerk. Shut up, idiot. Moron! Scab eater. Butt sniffer. Pus licker. Fart smeller. You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek. You mix your weeds with your mama's toe jam. Yeah! You bob for apples in the toilet, and you like it. You play ball like a girl. What did you say? You heard me. Tomorrow, noon, at our field. Get the buffalo butt breath. Count on it, pee-drinking crap face. Yeah! Let's go!
It's a classic movie. It's just a classic. What did the movie come out, like 93, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah,
93.
92, 93.
93. I could watch it now and get chills all over again. Loved it then, love it now.
I introduced my kids to this film, and especially my son became a humongous fan of it. He got a shirt with the characters on it, all of that. I mean, this is an all-time classic. One of the best films about baseball that's not based on a real character. I mean, this, Field of Dreams, Major League, those are for me the top three fantasy baseball film.
Just a little bit outside.
And this is kind of talking about this doesn't exist anymore.
No, kids playing,
outside and
in a sandlot, playing baseball. Sorry, it doesn't exist anymore. But we're talking about this because the Dodgers will be showing The Sandlot on June 28th and give you specifics. No, it's not free. Doors are going to set to open at 5 p.m. and the movie will start at 7 p.m. Tickets will be $40 per person. So it's all about the ambiance. You want to be on the field. And if you know the movie, there is a direct Dodgers tie-in. Direct. So if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you. But there's a reason why the Dodgers have adopted this movie, because the movie adopted the Dodgers when you see the actual story.
This sounds like a good time. I mean, Dodgers playing the film on the field, just like movies on the field. Why not?
Why not? In the middle of summer, why not? It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app.
It's Memorial Day.
What does Memorial Day mean to me?
Memorial Day, remembering those who lost their lives for us.
We honor their sacrifice.
Don't forget to raise a glass to the people that defend our freedom.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the